Hey, welcome back everyone, Toyshiz here, and I'm back yet again with yet another little something different this time around, that's for sure. We sure do take a look at a lot of McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figures around these parts, but for the longest time people have been telling me, you gotta check out what Medicom Toys is doing with their MAFEX DC Comics line, and thus, I have the new Batman The Dark Knight Returns 2-pack, featuring the blue version of Bruce Wayne Batman and Carrie Kelley Robin, in gorgeous Dark Knight Returns figures, photos adorn the packaging. I think it's very important to know what each company is doing. That way I can give you a better comparison, a better idea. No, I don't collect a lot of imports, but this is Dark Knight Returns. I'm a huge fan, and I'm going to pull out a bunch of other Dark Knight Returns figures, various companies, and see how they compare. Now, if you stay tuned throughout the end of the video, I will tell you all about Entertainment Earth, how you can order this particular set if you likes what you sees, and I'll tell you how you can get some free shippings to boot. Won't that be nice? So, this is going to be fun. It's my first MAFEX figure, so cut me some slack. This is a look at the brand new-ish, well, brand new for me, the Medicom MAFEX Batman, The Dark Knight Returns 2-pack, featuring Batman, the blue version, and Carrie Kelley Robin. And while I got all you Robs and Dons here, I just want to say thanks so much for always checking out my YouTube videos. Now, if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. Old toys, new toys, daily news updates. I guarantee you'll find something here that you'll like. So we'll jump right into it. Here's everything out of the packaging. Well, not quite everything. There's also a couple flight stands as well. Hey, that's a nice touch. MAFEX, but yes, you do get a lot of accessories. And keep in mind, this set is 150 bat bucks. Yes, it is definitely expensive, but with Carrie Kelley, you get a number of different hands, and I gotta tell you, I really like this little hand tree right here, whatever this is going on. That is stellar. You got open hands, you got weapon holding hands. They all come with their little hand tree. I think I like the hand tree more than the hands, but various hands that you can utilize for all the weapons, like her two slingshots. Every Carrie Kelley in existence comes with a slingshot. Yes, I know that's her weapon, but a lot of slingshots. She also comes with an extra head portrait. I actually like this one a whole heck of a lot better. She's got some more wild hair going, like she's jumping out the window to go aid Bruce Wayne in his crusade. And with Carrie Kelley herself, I'm going to tell you, that's a great articulated figure. It looks amazing, right? No peg holes on the bottom of her feet. Looks like she walked right out of the comic book. She's got a really nice cloth cape. It's pleated. Nice texture. Kind of an odd texture at the same time, but it has a little wire in it, and you can make it do all kinds of crazy Robin things, right? So I like that. I like that you can pose the cape around, and I really do think that this is where MAFEX really nails it. It's in, one, the articulation, and two, the posing. So for all the photographers out there, the people that really like to pose their figures, yeah, MAFEX is definitely for you. The head portrait on this is more of a solemn neutral face. It totally works. She's got her clear goggles. She's got lots of rotation in the head. So lots of momentum, lots of movement. And again, that's the whole basis for MAFEX. She's got some semblance of butterfly joints. Nothing spins, let's say, at the bicep. Let me just double check that. Yeah, nothing we would say right where the green cuff meets the flesh of her arm. But she does have double jointed elbows, which is cool. I just don't like the ball that's in her elbow, right? That's kind of weird. And plenty of hand rotation movement, and you can swap out the hands, yada yada. In terms of the upper diaphragm, the waist, the ab crunching, yeah, she does it in spades. A lot of movement around there. In fact, she's like an accordion, basically. But you can get her going all the way over, you can get her going back, and the waist will twist. And it kind of keeps the costume in line as well. I like that, as long as you're not going crazy side to side. The legs will go out to a certain degree, not crazy amounts. They'll go out. She's got some really nice double-jointed knees. That actually looks really nice. The flesh tone with the knees and the joints look great, along with the pixie boots that I like for Robin. Those are cool with toe articulation. And like I said, lots of rotation in the waist. You can get her all those flight poses. It's kind of cool. And for a quote-unquote acrobatic type character, yeah, this definitely nails it. Although we all know Carrie Kelley is not an acrobatic Robin, but you know what I'm saying. And when you want to situate her on a stand, well, she comes with her own flight stand as well. It's a nice touch. It's got a big clamp at the top, put it around her waist, and get her all the crazy positions that you'd like. Now, it is a little bit loose, though, I have to say. You can tighten it with a little mini screwdriver, but I wasn't able to tighten it, but it's still, oddly enough, a little bit loose. So that's a little bit of a bummer. You can move the stand around, yada, yada. You get the idea. Now, for Bruce Wayne, the blue version of Batman, you get a really nice looking hand tree. I love these. I want to see more companies do hand trees. You got nice shading on the hands, fisted hands, kind of sort of fisted hands. You could put a batarang in there if you wanted to do that. Yes, he comes with batarangs. And you've kind of got these grippy hands, right? You want to choke the Joker a little bit, right, before he breaks his neck. Also, you can slip batarangs in between his fingers. And you got a nice pair of, he's jumping out of a window, going for Two-Face sort of deal. So overall, nice set of hands, and all work to elevate this version of Batman. Now, in correspondence with those hands, you get a couple batarangs. You get 4 of them. They're very simplistic, but they're very silvery, which is totally nice. And I love that these particular hands can hold them in between the figures. That's a nice touch. I like that. For a $150 figure, they better be able to hold batarangs, right? Especially like that. You get an extra head portrait. It's more of a grit and teeth Bruce Wayne. He's old. His back is aching. His knees are hurting. That's why he's gritting his teeth. Also, the Joker just shot a bunch of people in the Tunnel of Love. I like that they put the Frank Miller artwork lines in the forehead. It's there. It's not quite like, oh my God, they nailed it, but it's good enough. In terms of the unmasked Bruce Wayne head, it comes with the removable cowl piece that kind of slinks over his back. Nice. Totally dig that. In terms of nailing Frank Miller's artwork for the unmasked Bruce Wayne, it's halfway there. It's kind of uncanny valley. It's not perfection when you compare it to the more grit and teeth Batman head with the chin and how it kind of looks. It's not exactly the same head portrait underneath the mask. Subtle differences, of course, but it's there for the most part. Now, Batman himself. You thought Carrie Kelley was articulated well. Bruce Wayne here, he's been training for years and years. He took a little time off, but now he's back with a vengeance. And I really do like the articulation on this figure. The paint, however, in certain areas could have been a little bit better, especially for the price point. I'm just going to say, for the price point, I expect them to, each little one is like perfection, right? Like in terms of the Batman symbol, you can see the black doesn't go all the way up to the sculpted points. Yes, it's sculpted, but it's not great looking. I like the colors of the belts. He's got the pouch belt, looks nice. He's got the leg pouch belt with the different knives and such attached. That's cool. These don't come off. They don't remove. I would have preferred that. I actually would have preferred if you could take this off his leg too. Somehow, some way. Just saying. But the colors are nice. It's 2 different versions of yellow, and it works to really elevate that one particular scene of The Dark Knight Returns. However, in pure DC Comics fashion, apparently at no price point can this happen. He does not come with the rifle gun as he has with this particular suit and this version of all the pouch belts and everything else. He has nice shading on the gray. He's got nice shading on the blue. The blue is amazing. He's got this big pleated cape, and much like Carrie Kelley's Robin, yes, you can articulate the cape in many ways because it has a wire in there. I don't necessarily like the fabric texture, though. It feels paper mache-ish while being cloth at the same time. You know what I mean? It's just okay. And again, in corresponding with such an expensive figure. You know, recently I got a cool Spawn cape off of eBay, and I feel like that's a much nicer quality. I'm just saying. However, the pleats of the cape do aim to kind of emulate the artwork, and it is a lot of fun when you start posing him out and you get the cape in various degrees. But you can put his arms out just like this. Looks like he's soaring over Gotham. So as much as I'm nitpicking, there are some really awesome things with this. In terms of the articulation, you get a lot in the neck. I mean, it's everywhere. It's up, down, left, right. And I like that you can get it up enough to look like, yeah, he's soaring over Gotham utilizing his cape. He's got butterfly joints. He's got rotation. He's got bicep. He's got double jointed elbows, which looks really nice. I like that. Completely pinless. And you'll twist his hands and rotate and all that jazz. Now, one thing though, and I've definitely heard this before, the hands do come off really easily. You do have to pull it a little bit, but they're not snug on there. And At one point, yeah, the hand did fall off when I was kind of posing him around. He's got some great ab crunch to him. He'll move around the upper diaphragm, left, right. I like all the little creases in the sculpt of the costume. That's definitely Frank Miller influence right there. He'll spin at the waist. He's got the blue underoos. It's overall, it's a very cool looking Batman. Of course, big fan of a blue Batman, and of course Dark Knight Returns. The legs are interesting. It has that sort of import articulation that allows the leg to kind of drop down so you don't snag his little butt cheeks in the back on the blue skivs, right? So they can pop down, they can pop up, and it's no problem form-fitting his leg right back where it needs to go. Not much in terms of a thigh swivel, but the legs do rock enough to get in that position. Double jointed knees, which look great. Lots of rotation in the feet. He's got toe articulation, the big old boots. So yeah, like I said, it's really nicely articulated for a Batman of this caliber. And like Carrie Kelley, he does come with his big, massive stand. Actually, it's the same stand. He's just got a bigger claw hook handle at the top. And I will say, it holds him fairly well. It's a little bit loose. You kind of have to finagle it. But when you get these types of poses, I mean, that's a lot of fun. I'm glad that he comes with this type of stand because then, yeah, in posing him around and taking photos, yeah, that's definitely cool. And when you put both of them side by side, you can kind of pick a scene from any of the Dark Knight Returns, right? Comic book form, and have at it. So that's a nice little touch as well. Now, in comparing what's come before to what I have now, we have Mattel, we have McFarlane, he didn't do a blue Batman, and then we have the MAFEX Dark Knight Returns. And I still really like the Mattel one. So it's kind of fun to see what does $20 get you these days, or at least back then. $20, we're kind of teetering on that at this point, right? And then you have the McFarlanes, which were $25 because they came with the Build-A-Horse piece. And I still really like these as well. I think the articulation is great. Overall, I'm more of a fan of simplistic articulation. But this MAFEX one is fun. And it's also really fun to switch out the Robins between all these Batmans because I think the MAFEX one is entirely too small. Like, really small. And I know that her size fluctuates throughout the comic book. But even looking at her next to the Mattel Batman in the armor, you kind of get the idea. She's really too small. And I think that that's where McFarlane and Mattel actually had the better Carrie Kelley Robin. And then, of course, the unmasked head portraits. You have the Mattel one on the left that came with the Flash Walgreens exclusive, and then you have the MAFEX one. And in looking at Old Man Bruce for the MAFEX version with this Carrie Kelley, again, that looks great. You can pull the cowl down. It's got that extra little piece. But what I really like, even though it doesn't stay on the peg, but it fits on the neck perfectly, is the Mattel Unmasked Batman. I think that that looks so much better as the artwork brought to life. And then, of course, you have the supporting characters that they've made from The Dark Knight Returns, namely the Joker, Mattel and McFarlane, though I think Mattel totally nailed it, especially with the Batarang in the eye. I love that they snuck that in there. That just looks awesome. And again, more spot on to the artwork by Frank Miller, whereas I like the size of the McFarlane one, but overall, yeah. In terms of Superman, the Boy Scouts, well, I do think that Mattel totally nailed it. I like that style, and I think that he fits really well with this MAFEX Batman. The McFarlane one, on the other hand, say what you will about the head portrait. I think it emulates the artwork, but in terms of scalature, I think he's too big for the MAFEX. Now, again, what really works is the Mattel Son of Batman. Plus, you get the rifle, which this MAFEX Batman can hold, and that looks really cool. So I definitely dig that. And to kind of, well, sort of Justice League it up a little bit, you have the Dark Knight Returns Flash, Wonder Woman, you have the Atom, and again, just in terms of the size, like if you swap out the head of Carrie Kelley and you give her the wild hair, I don't know why that works better, but the standard head portrait, not so much. In terms of the price, just keep this in mind. For $100, you could get this entire set of McFarlane Toys, The Dark Knight Returns, Superman, Batman, Joker, the Build-A-Horse, right? You get all these parts and pieces for $100, even this really cool looking Carrie Kelley, whereas for $150, you only get 2 figures. So, quality or quantity, it's totally up to you, but for me, in the terms of articulation of all these prior release figures, I think that works out better for me in the end. Now, if you've stayed with me all throughout this video, well, thank you very much for doing so. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Entertainment Earth, and it's where I picked up this Dark Knight Returns set. Right now, they're offering free shipping on all orders, $39 and up. You can use the code FREESHIP39, and they have lots of MAFEX figures to choose from. Now, this being my first MAFEX, I can't say I'm going to deep dive into it, that's for sure. However, I do have the MAFEX KnightFall Azrael on pre-order. Kind of looking at that Superman Death and Return figure. I will say, overall, I'm stoked with what McFarlane is offering at the price point they're offering. However, I really do like that Cyborg Superman. Might have to grab that as well. Now, do keep in mind, this 2-pack that we've been looking at, again, is $150. And I'm not going to immediately recommend it because there's differences in the height. There's problems with paint. Yeah, it's a great articulated set. If you have the money, sure, by all means. And besides a really cool wired cape, I would say that it doesn't do too much more than your McFarlane's, your Mattels, your DC Directs, or heck, even your Mezcos do at a much cheaper price. And if you're more of a McFarlane fan, well, they just put up a bunch of new McFarlane figures for pre-order. And if you're just not a fan of articulation at all, well, they have this new Hush Batman 12-inch statue going up, which immediately caught my eye. I think that that's really cool. And a nice little throwback nod to the 90s McFarlane Spawn figure. So, thanks for sitting with me through this little spiel. I highly recommend Entertainment Earth. I use them myself. Take advantage of their free shipping for the orders over $39. Use the code FREESHIP39. Definitely check them out. Guarantee you'll find something there that you like. So, that will wrap it up for my look and a little comparisons at the new MAFEX, the Dark Knight Returns 2-pack featuring the blue version of Batman and Carrie Kelley Robin. So you've heard my thoughts. Now I'm curious to know yours. Comment below. Let me know. Let's talk everything The Dark Knight Returns and the animated feature, but not the sequels because those didn't happen, right? Wink, wink. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. As always, drink some great coffee, eat some great food, but most importantly, remember, let me know down in the comments below. Are you more quality over quantity? Do you like less articulation? Do you like figures and characters to be more spot on to the source material? Or is it kind of like, well, if it looks cool, it looks cool. And when you do, let me know what you found. I'll talk to you guys soon. Adios.